Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
What's a Blerd? That's a black guy who's also a nerd. Reading comics, watching anime. Haven't you heard? It's Jeremy, J, and Miriam talking to Delirium. Naruto, then Marvel, then DC. Are you hearing him? Pop culture reverends pull them out periodically. We sing of movies with the comics canonically, and we watch a lot of TV. It's our virtual reality. I guarantee one day we'll have a TV show on NBC.
Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
It's the Blerd Survival Guide. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
With friends.
Fight!
You see how low that register went? That's kind of funny.
Yeah, because you got a deep ass voice.
Fight!
Hello, hello. Yeah, that was him. All right, let's get this thing started.
Welcome back, everybody.
WHAT'S_UP. Everybody?
Oh, that, what the hell?
Jay was like, wait,
No, I was. Only because we had the first black spelling bee champ.
Oh, look at you. Look
Yeah.
at you bringing it up. Bring it
Yeah.
up, man.
Zaila Avant-Garde. I had to look that up.
Bro,
Yeah.
have you looked at videos of that girl? She
She
is
is a force to be reckoned with.
as Miriam has put it, she is a prodigy.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Bro, that girl is a freak of nature in the best way possible.
And she is going to be doing great things. She's already got, like, college
She's
college
got
people looking at her.
4 Guinness World Records for
Yep.
three.
Yeah, 3.
For dribbling the basketball.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like she's like legitimately like that much of an icon. I just can't believe we just now got the first black
Spelling
scripts,
bee.
yeah,
Script,
champion.
yeah.
I mean, after Aquila
13.
and the Bee came
That's
out,
what I'm saying.
like,
We got a real life
come
Aquila
on. Yeah,
that came
yeah.
out well before she was born because she's only 13.
I'm saying, man, that movie did not come out when that girl was alive.
No, but happy for Zaila. So glad for the culture.
Right?
Because we know we can spell.
I mean, clearly,
We need an adult spelling bee with drinks. I've seen that
I'm
now.
so good on that. You can keep that.
Can you not? You afraid to spell, Jay?
I'm not trying to get slipped up on like some word that has a GH because the English language is garbage.
I mean, she spelled Mariah, and it doesn't have any of the letters that you probably think are in Mariah.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
It's
Well,
messed
welcome
up.
back. Welcome back to another episode of Blerd Survival Guide, everybody. I'm your co-host Jeremy,
I'm your co-host Jay.
and this is our episode 19. We are
We're away from 20.
Yeah, we're gonna what we're gonna do for next week's episode is probably do a Instagram live. We are testing out a different space today. We're actually in my living room, just to see how it feels before we actually get on camera in front of you and do it.
Right.
But
Right.
this week's episode, we actually have a couple of guests in the space
Studio space?
yeah, the space around us.
Yeah.
We all just went to go see the new Black Widow movie today, and
We thought it'd be fun to bring everybody back fresh out of the movie screening and talk about it a little bit. Try and limit the spoilers as much as possible, folks. But
I mean, there's a lot of Instagram and YouTube videos that have already like.
oh, without a
Posted
doubt.
stuff.
I mean, it came out Friday. Today's Sunday.
Yeah, so you've had time to watch it.
I mean, it's on Disney Plus. It's on in all theaters. So if people are interested in it, they've probably seen it by now, or they'll see it this week.
Right. But yeah, what we're going to do today is, like I said, we got a couple of guests. You'll hear from them in a minute. We'll introduce them intermittently throughout the episode, just if they have a word or something or other. But first, we're just going to get some initial reactions from your two favorite co-hosts. So first up, Jay, how'd you think of the movie?
Way to put me on the spot.
You're welcome.
This movie, upon first reaction and having like an hour and a half to like digest and sit on it.
Right.
I mean, like the best thing that I can think about is I can't wait to have a daughter, niece to take to see this movie, because I felt like watching it, it was just like an awesome character study of what it's like for Natasha Romanoff and her sister to exist in this world but to also overcome the challenges that they did have to face, and to be to go through the transformations that they did go through, and then to come out on the other side of it as stronger and more like leader-oriented women. I just really enjoyed the film as a girl power flick, but I also enjoyed the film as like this reintroduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe after having been away from it for so long.
A whole year.
I mean, it's really weird. It's weird to think that Marvel makes movies now.
Yeah, after,
right? Like
after everything that we've seen on Disney Plus with WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and now Loki, which is almost finished as well. It was just
Marvel still makes movies. Did you forget?
They do?
I'm telling you.
No, but it was just cool to finally, one, be back in the theater.
Yeah.
Two, to see a Marvel movie back in the theater.
Yeah.
And three,
Someone even clapped at the end of our movie.
Yeah,
I appreciated them for clapping. I was like,
I wasn't going to clap, but yeah.
I clapped at the end of Endgame because that was Endgame, and I think that was worth it.
Man, that
was
22 movies.
I appreciated that this guy was like, all right, yes, this is the first time I've seen Marvel in the movie theater.
On something wider than my TV screen.
And he decided to clap. I was like, that's appropriate, but I'm not going to do it.
Right. No, I'll probably clap for like Shang-Chi or
I might. We'll see how if I'm so moved.
Right. Because, I mean, one of the guilt / like negatives that I would say about that came from this movie was that it came about 5 years too late.
Yeah.
Because
it was originally supposed to reintroduce introduce the fourth phase, right? Is that what we're at?
No, it was supposed to. Well, technically yes, in terms of like the Marvel phases, yeah, it was supposed to introduce Phase 4, which I mean technically it still did, because it's the first movie in Phase 4. But because it was supposed to, the initial runtime was supposed to come out in March of 2020, but. All that crazy stuff happened. We were in a panini and all that.
In a Panera Bread.
Exactly. But it was like time-wise, the actual movie was like set about a week after, around the same time as the events of Black Panther, which is like a week after Civil War.
Yeah. That's what I was like immediately caught up on. I was like, okay, so that's when it takes place.
Literally,
right?
she's running from Thunderbolt Ross, and like I said, like we said in the beginning of the podcast, spoilers ahead because it's been a couple days. It's already stuff is already out on the internet about it, which means you've either had time to watch it or you
had something spoiled for you already.
Right. So I mean, Thunderbolt Ross, who is been chasing after all the Avengers who are going against the Sokovia Accords, is chasing her. She disappears, and that's when the adventure starts, and we see everything that goes through it.
We see her leave her, like, after she goes through this divorce from her chosen family, she goes back to her, other chosen family.
Right.
And then we're
you can't really say organic.
You can't really call anything about Natasha Romanoff organic. No, she's very much like a made woman, like she's been shaped and molded by all these forces and people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like you see that in the movie. We were just talking about it. I was really nervous about this movie because what I really enjoyed about it was that it was somewhat of an origin story, but it managed to like be a continuation as well, which I think is like a really difficult line to teeter on when you have like a solo singular Avenger story.
Right, especially after the events of Infinity War. Well, the events after Endgame.
Yeah, after Endgame.
Because I mean, spoiler alert for Endgame if you haven't seen it. First of all, why? But after the events of Endgame, she had to get the soul. We had to get the Soul Stone somehow.
Yeah, like
you know how you got the Soul Stone? You had to throw somebody you loved off the cliff, and she sacrificed herself. So we know that Black Widow is dead.
So like, how is this going to be a continuation, right?
Exactly.
But and I think that we kind of get our answer to that in the post-credit scene.
Indeed, and I was happy to see some post-credit scenes after a movie again.
Oh man,
missed it.
We're all sitting there like waiting for the post-credit scene, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, how? Like she's dead. Like she's dead.
How do we answer? What is this post-credit scene going to be? Of course, we got the post-credit scene. It answered our questions, and we've seen some people that we've seen recently before in our Marvel TV shows, and it was cool. Nice little Easter egg that helped push on forward into Phase 4. And
Val.
Yeah, Valentina de Contessa.
So, but how great was Florence Pugh?
Boy, I have notes.
All right.
I told you before the
all
movie
right,
started that
all
I was going to be taking notes of this movie.
You did.
Because
Because you're smart like that.
But yeah, Florence Pugh. I have on here Florence Pugh. Praise hands, because she. I heard that she carried the movie, and she carried that damn movie.
I mean, like, she really kept it like comic booky. She kept it like. She kept the story like progressing,
and in the world of Marvel, she kept it real.
On point, bro. On
When they were,
point.
like, in the gas station or whatever store they're in, and
The running joke is so
literally-
good.
We're trying to figure out, or you don't think about it while you're watching these Marvel movies, but she points out that Black Widow, that Natasha does this lunge. And you've seen it in the movies. You've seen
It's
it
the
since
pose.
1992.
It's her Superman,
signature-
her superhero landing.
her quote unquote Black Widow pose.
Right.
That she makes, and it's the running joke throughout the movie. It's like, why do you make this pose? She and Elena, that's Florence Pugh's character. That's her name.
Yelena.
She even
Yelena.
Yeah, thank you. She accidentally did it when they were in one of the final battle scenes, and she just like got up and like gross, ew.
I mean, it really like makes it real, right? Like it brings it back to this conversation that we've had before. Like, what if you lived in a superhero universe? Like, what is it like? Like, and they're just like, she's like, I'm just the murderer that no one else wants to be like their role model. You're the murderer that's the superhero. Like,
Right.
Like we're the same thing, but like you have all these. You
got the pose. You got
you're
the
you're a
family.
quote unquote poser. Right. Is what she calls her. I'm like, that's freaking funny.
It works.
Like it genuinely connects like the pose to what Yelena thinks of it. Like it's like you're not authentic. You're just out here posing.
You're posing for the camera and everything. Like, who is watching you fight? Who is this for?
Like the whole world is watching you.
Who is this pose for?
It's such an interesting like fourth wall break almost.
Oh, definitely, yeah. No, it definitely. And she, like I said, Yelena touches on that. Florence Pugh, she did amazing. We could talk about her throughout the whole podcast, but like her whole character.
What's her comic book character's name? Yelena?
That's all I know.
It's just okay.
I need to do some more research because I don't know much on the Black Widow lore. More so past the MCU. So.
But also accompanying the Black Widow lore, we have what's his name?
Taskmaster or Red Guardian.
Red Guardian,
yes.
which I thought was that was a fun trip down like a historical arc that was never really fleshed out before for us.
Right.
Like we didn't know that there was maybe a Russian counterpart to.
Captain America.
Bro, how many super soldiers are there? Because dear God,
at this Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's a number.
We're at like 4 or 5.
4 that we know of.
4 or 5 minus like the people that were killed in.
In the last episode.
Yeah.
Because you have Steve Rogers, of course. Mm-hmm. You have Isaiah Bradley. Mm-hmm. You have Bucky, and now Red Guardian, and U.S. agent. He did take the serum. So
as far as we know, he took the serum. Val seems to think that he knows that he took the serum.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They all know. It's one of those like, you got caught taking the drug, didn't you? Ha ha ha. Yeah, but about 5 of them so far.
Sheesh.
But moving on, one of the things that I did like notice, we got to know what happened in Budapest, as
Budapest.
Natasha kept calling it.
It's Budapest.
Budapest.
Well, I mean, like, you know what's interesting? The flashback to when he's saying Budapest and she's saying Budapest.
Yeah.
Like, you hear her say the shh more now than you did before. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, I guess she's the canonical nature of Marvel is just astounding, bro. Like, I'm
pretty sure if we go back and watch like Age of Ultron when Clint and Natasha had 100%. That conversation. It's like, isn't it like Budapest? Like, I'm pretty sure she's going to say Budapest. She was like, oh, she's been saying it the whole time.
She has, bro.
And we didn't even notice.
100%. Like, without a doubt in my mind.
Budapest.
Yes.
Budapest. Okay. Something else that moved me, back to Red Guardian. Kind of meta moment for those who watch Stranger Things as well, because Red Guardian is played by David Harbour, who plays Officer Hopper in Stranger Things. It was kind of funny because if you did watch the end of season 3, we found out that he's caught by the Russians.
Yeah.
And so you see in Marvel that he's become one.
He's become a Russian.
A Russian. And
so it's possible.
that opera went Russian on us.
Man. I mean, when I saw him come in as a character, I didn't look at any of the casting at all before this thing, right? Like I
mean, you know, I did my research.
I know, but like I didn't know who all was cast for the movie.
Reactions
like I knew, yeah, man. Watching him come in for me was just like the greatest surprise ever because I'm like, is that Stranger Things? He's like, and Jeremy, you're sitting next to me like, yeah. I'm like, he is so talented.
Yeah,
he knows how to play. He plays a father figure, you know, but like it's just two different kinds of
different father figures. Oh my god. But yeah, his scenes were dope. I did enjoy him. Like the acting in this whole movie was just
flawless.
Great. It was
flawless. I mean yes.
One of the other things I saw, Taskmaster, who was one of the B story villains, I would say. A lot of stuff involving Taskmaster and Natasha.
I really appreciated them drawing the lines to Taskmaster because we've heard about her fear of Taskmaster. We've kind of been aware that this is like a looming figure in her life, and then like they draw the lines directly to like I love the classic comic book arc of creating your own villain. It's one of my favorite situations, right? Like you know, Batman, Joker villain, like what's his name, Hobgoblin and
Peter Parker,
and Spider-Man. Like those are some of my favorite storylines. And then they brought it back into this into the movie, which
have like an arch nemesis.
Which I mean, I'm not sure about the canonical nature of that to the original comic book.
Well, I mean, Taskmaster is
originally a guy, right? Like he's originally like a handyman of the Red Room, basically, or is he a mercenary?
That's the movie. He's just a mercenary.
He's
wherever the money is where
he's a hand for hire.
Yeah, because if you have if you see in the Spider-Man video game, he's hired to like study Peter for. We're not sure who hired him, but like he's hired to study Peter and get all his moves.
I think Fisk hires him in the video game.
Well,
in the
I
video,
gotta remember. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I appreciated them drawing that line and making it a part of the story a little bit to make it a deeper situation.
I'm just happy it was a person and not
a robot. We were worried. I was like, they're definitely not a robot. Like that's not okay. Like, are we getting into AI again?
It was humanoid,
right,
to a degree.
Yes.
But yeah, Taskmaster. It was interesting. It was
more like an android at this point. If I had to like liken it to something,
we'll see. I mean, they may make a comeback,
right?
But one of the things I noticed in like the car chase with Taskmaster and the at the end,
I felt like I was watching Fast and Furious.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It was the car chase in this movie was still more realistic.
Right? Oh my god. Well, I mean, it reminded me of like Fast 7 when they brought the tank in, you know, like the actual tank.
Yeah, and they were still like, and there was the bank scene where they were like,
yeah,
when they were driving the vaults through the city.
Yeah, and then exactly.
See, and that's more believable than a flipping beast.
Without a doubt.
Then that one, and then like Natasha and Yelena when they're parachuting through the debris, I was like,
they were supposed to die so many times.
Both of those times I went still more realistic than Fast 9. I mean,
oh my gosh, you're not.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But like, it's so sad because like that's just. I mean, how the heck is a comic book movie gonna be more realistic than a
drag racing action movie?
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was supposed to start out. That's what it started off as.
I mean, I think that's the brand. I think that's their brand. Yeah. So like, how in the world does that even happen? You know, it's just a different direction of the different. I thank God for Kevin Feige.
Marvel.
I mean, they've managed to like really integrate the real world into these comic books, like comic book movies, which is has not been common across history, right? Like, I mean, that's just like the really cool part about it. Like, you're really getting. Like even in like Captain America: Winter Soldier and Therapy and everything like that,
right.
Like these real world elements are being incorporated, and I think Stan Lee would be so proud.
Oh, you would. I mean, it still. I mean, Kevin Feige was still a major part of Marvel back before Marvel had that whole spiel and deal. But back with the original Spider-Man trilogy with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, it was still able to have that realness in it, even though it was still a campy comic book movie. You were still able to see the realness that Marvel was able to put. Because, I mean, one, you're in actual New York City. You know where you are in town. Too, you got Peter Parker, like in the OG trilogy, he's not able to pay rent. And like,
Right.
The real world factions of him, being
that's
a
real.
human. Right?
Yeah, you're right. That's fair.
I can't, like, I have a shitty job. I can't pay my rent, and I'm broke. But
I guess maybe even as a kid, you don't really relate to those as much, right?
Right, but I mean, rewatching them as
sure,
26
yeah.
Peter Parker right now,
right? Like just trying to make ends meet.
Make do with what you got, fam.
That's true. That's so true. And I mean, we go on and on.
Yeah. Actually, Seth, we have Seth Hagen in the building with us tonight. You got anything you want to say about the Black Widow movie?
Oh, you know I do.
Ooh, look at that voice.
Sultry.
So, right off top, I love what y'all said about Florence Pugh, because I said before we started recording this episode that I am in love with her.
Yes, you are.
From Little Women to Midsummer, now to Yelena, Natasha Romanoff's little sister. I mean, I don't know if she carried it, but she absolutely instantly became the most interesting character. Mm-hmm. She became the comic relief to the entire movie, almost, aside from the father's character.
Right, you're right.
He was funny too, but I swear she had more one-liners than anybody else combined.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
She took over from that standpoint. And then in a movie where she's arguably the fourth biggest actor in that movie, behind ScarJo, behind Rachel Weisz, behind my man from Stranger Things, she comes in and steals the show.
She made her moment. She real deal made her moment.
I mean, she is establishing herself in Hollywood as a giant to be reckoned with. And I say that ironically because she sits at about 4'7". If I watch the movie correctly, I mean, she just looks super tiny, but she took over the movie. What can you say? Like, give her own movie. Well, immediately.
I swear, I'm so stoked for her to come back in the Hawkeye movies.
Absolutely.
Or the Hawkeye TV series.
Bring her back as often as you want. That character is golden. I mean, and honestly, played the best Russian of the four.
Yeah.
Had the best character. Had the most believable accent. Like, I mean,
it was like really the dry wit that drove her character. I'm sitting here waiting on what she has to say next every single time that Natasha says something that's kind of like there's a quip for that, right? Like I'm just sitting here in anticipation the whole movie for it.
Right. And so the other thing that it kind of opened up, this movie kind of opened up, is what was formerly now, I guess, the Black Widow Network. All these women around the globe that were being controlled in their mind, almost like the Matt Damon series, the Jason Bourne series, where you got these
sleeper cells.
These super spies that are being controlled secretly, and so it opens that kind of storyline up. You wonder where all these women are, how they are gonna re-enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and mentioning that, of course, as this was kind of our reintroduction back into, what is it now, Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this was, I think this was a review, so I don't want to steal it, but it said, worth the wait. And this was worth the wait. It was actually worth the wait, and it just so happened to reintroduce us back into the MCU, and it was such a great movie to do so. And I came in kind of thinking, as you guys mentioned, Black Widow's dead. Like, what in the world are we doing watching this movie 4 or 5 years later after these events supposedly took place? It's almost like Rogue One from Star Wars kind of effect. But the way that they wrapped it up, and then the end credits scene, it came home for me, and I was like, this is why we needed this movie right now. This movie couldn't have come out 4 or 5 years ago. It wouldn't have made sense. You wouldn't have been able to have that end scene. It wouldn't have been wrapped up the way it was.
Right.
And so, and then arguably, Florence Pugh is a relative unknown at that point also. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't have gotten her I mean, she's in her prime, man. She is killing it, whatever she does. So I love me some Florence Pugh, but it was a great reintroduction into the series. I loved it. And the only other thing that I could think of, you guys were talking about like the super soldiers, and are there more? It's like, how can there not be? If there's so many Black Widows out there,
Right.
there's got to be this growing race of super soldiers in the Winter Soldier series, in the new Captain America. We found the old another super soldier.
Right.
We found out about him,
Yep.
and it's like that means this will be a running
Theme.
for the MCU now. Where are all these lost super soldiers, and how will they kind of reintroduce themselves? And so I'm looking forward to seeing all that, all the Black Widows, how that's going to work. And it makes me excited for the next wave of this movie series, because I wasn't sure where they were going to go with after this. I wasn't sure if it would be as good, because you have such a high bar. It's so high.
Massive bar.
It's so massive. So it's like
how do you leave
it gives me hope that, man, maybe it could be just as good, which is just mind-blowing, because it's got DC buried right now. It's buried. I mean, DC is praying that the new Suicide Squad does something.
Yeah.
Because coming off the Snyder Cut and the momentum off that, it would be awful for the second Suicide Squad to disappoint, because that would almost be like a death knell to the DC universe as we know it. Because I mean, you just can't come back, because Marvel keeps coming with you hit after hit after hit.
And Marvel's now attacking them with the animated series as well. When we're getting the What If series,
get the What If,
that just, it's added competition for them, and I don't know if they can keep up. I know the DC.
It's Kevin Durant joins the Warriors. Like, how are you going to stop this team?
Well, yeah. No, we appreciate that, Seth. Like Jay said, we can go on and on, but what we're going to do now is take a quick break, and you hear a quick word from our sponsor, Anchor, and we'll be right back with the weekly blurb. We will be right back, guys.
Hey guys, it's Jeremy here to talk to you about Anchor, the free podcast tool that you all need. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, like I said, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer or your phone. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So guys, go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm on your computer to get started.
I'm so down to do a
Costume.
group Loki
I
costume.
call being alligator Loki.
I want Kid Loki or Classic Loki.
Fine, make me Sylvie. No, I'm kidding. I'll be
Yeah, you'd be a sexy Sylvie.
You can be a narcissistic Loki. Or
Boastful Loki.
Boastful Loki.
How's that a President Loki?
I'm down. I'm just saying. Miriam said that I could be Tom Hiddleston's Loki. I'm like, that's nice. I appreciate that.
I can see that.
You know.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. You know what time it is? It's time for the
Weekly Blurb. And I believe I went first last time, so Jeremy gets to go this time.
You know what time it is. It's time for the Loki Talk,
Loki
episode
Talk.
5.
Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, man. This was, Jay, you said last week was your favorite episode 4?
I think so. Each new week is my new favorite episode.
Episode 5.
Shook me.
Episode 5 was
Shook
by
me.
far my favorite episode.
I still can't believe we're watching a freaking TV show.
First and foremost, before we get started on Loki Talk, you already know
As you
that
know.
this episode of Blerd Survival Guide comes out on Tuesday, and Loki comes out on Wednesday, so you have had ample time to watch this episode. And with that being said, there's going to be a bunch of spoilers ahead. Let's get into it. So, Loki Talk episode 5, quick synopsis. Loki is we're seconds after the post-credit scene of episode 4, where he sees these 4 other Lokis, and our Loki, our time variant Loki, has now gotten up and is looking at him, and they're in needing of running from what's called an Alliath, which is basically a giant smoke cloud snake.
Giant guard dog, basically.
Yeah. we find out that Kid Loki is actually the leader of the pack because he's the
only one that actually killed Thor.
Yeah, that was his Nexus event, and that's some scary stuff. If you got
if a Loki can kill Thor,
yeah,
I mean that's not supposed to happen.
No, it's not.
So he's a badass Loki,
right? So that kind of makes him ruler of the pack. But we also have OG Loki, who do find out that was the one that was talking, not the alligator Loki. I was kind of hoping that alligator Loki was talking, but it's fine. But
alligator Loki and boastful Loki.
Yeah. So,
excuse me.
Yeah, all those Lokis were funny in their own rights, and Tom Hiddleston's Loki is getting to see how annoying he is as a person.
the mirroring that he is getting to experience in these variants is like it's incomparable to like any kind of like mirror, like look in the mirror that any person has ever gone through at any point in time.
Right. And it's just funny because it's like they all are essentially the same person. They just have different backstories of how they got to where they are now. It's like both for Loki. We're not sure if his actual story is true or not because everyone laughed at him, but he's saying that like he got to the point where he actually he was the one who stole all the Infinity Stones and did Thanos' job because he got rid of Iron Man and Captain America.
Right,
and all
right.
That. And everyone's laughing at him. Even Alligator Loki, who OG Loki can understand, is just like, yeah, that's a crock of shit, pun intended. But like I said, that was his backstory of his Nexus event. You got OG Loki, who may or may not be our main universe Loki that we saw die in Endgame, because he said that he did get all the way to that point. He did his whole redemption arc. He but instead of him being the one who got his neck snapped, he hid. Yeah, he made a projection and he became almost like a substitution jutsu. He became a rock. And became a piece of space that floated and went to a whole thing. That kind of tied up with a bunch of other like people who did theories of Loki not really dying. But that was his Nexus event because he was tired of being alone for so long, and so as soon as he made a step to go see his brother again, that's when TVA got him.
Which, if that's not the most Loki way to be found by the TVA or to get caught, like the second that he no longer wants to be alone, which apparently is a Loki trait.
Wait a minute. You can't be alone. You
gotta be alone. You're supposed to be alone.
Yeah.
But the second you don't want to be, nope, you are a variant.
This ain't on the timeline, sir.
Just like it kept putting the Lokiisms, basically, is what I'm gonna call them, the Lokiisms. Yeah. Into your face and and not just our face, but Loki's face. He's like, these are the things that have led to my demise in multiple timelines, man.
This is why I'm here. Wow. And I mean, even got to the point where like President Loki and his gang, which also turned out to be a whole bunch of other Lokis, if you noticed.
The evil Lokis.
Yeah.
Those are the eviler Lokis, maybe. Because those Lokis, like, they were the chill Lokis. They were like, we're just trying to hang out in this spot.
Like, literally, our purpose is to survive. That's why we're still here. That's why we have our little hideout. We just want to survive. We don't care about the rest of them.
And they're trying to survive away from the other Lokis, which is like, what? Like the cannibalistic. They're not eating them, but like they're just like, we're just trying to get rid of the other Loki.
Right, we're just trying to survive. Period. We're
trying to sabotage.
Yeah,
it's literally self-sabotage.
It's like we can like the whole episode was it was a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, it ends with Loki and Sylvie grasping and enchanting the Alioth, and
which Loki didn't have that power before.
Nope.
He didn't think that he could do it.
Right. I mean, and I talked to John about this earlier. We know that he actually did have that power because he actually does enchant Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok.
But he didn't know.
He didn't know that because
he hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, that's the 2012 variant. So we know. We technically know.
You know, that's why I think I was kind of confused about that when I watched it. I was like, I think we've seen him do this before.
Literally, I remember the scene, and I saw a TikTok because somebody else did make a comparison of it.
God love TikTok.
Yeah, I love them. Sponsor us. I haven't said that in a minute. But no, there's literally that scene in Thor Ragnarok where Loki and Valkyrie are fighting for the first time before they have to go find Thor. And you see Loki literally reach his hand up, grab Valkyrie by the head, and like that's when you see her flashback of her fighting with the other Valkyries.
And she's all wigged out. She's like, "What did you just show me? What did you just send me back to?"
He's able to enchant. He just doesn't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's one of those like
he hasn't had to do it yet.
Right. And I mean, like I said, this whole episode led up to him learning, basically unlocking a new power.
Yeah.
But also, like we saw OG Loki sacrifice himself. He was able to astral project an entire Asgard.
I'm sitting here watching it. I'm like, is that Asgard?
Like, this man created Asgard.
Is that like the planet? Like, and he just like kept tearing it down and bringing it back up. And I mean, it's just, it was so dope because because he's classic Loki, and you're just like, okay, that means he's OP.
Yeah,
like
basically.
you know, like
because even he stated, it was just like the only reason that y'all are being hindered by y'all powers is because y'all keep holding these weapons. He has you never saw him hold a weapon. That
magic, straight magic the whole time, which was
more
classic,
and powerful than you've seen.
Which was classic Loki,
exactly
right? Like classic Loki was all magic.
I mean, yeah, the Jack Kirby, the old ones, it was just magic because I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't want bloodshed or anything.
Sure.
In the comics, way back when.
Right.
When he first, and that was the other thing. The name of the episode was like the first time Loki was introduced in the comics, and it was the OG Loki look and everything. But,
thank you, Kevin Feige.
Yeah, and so I'm thanking Kevin Feige, thank Marvel for giving us one of these like comic accurate costumes in all of the shows. Because I mean,
they've done it. Yeah,
Wanda and Vision with their classic costumes.
Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Man, when we got that suit for the first time,
you know you screamed.
Oh. I did, and now with Loki, when you got OG Loki, because I mean, yeah, it is a goofy looking costume, but
worth it.
But
man, if you're not honestly, if you're not turned on by that costume, then you're not doing it right.
That one piece is just. But no, that's my weekly blurb. I'm very looking forward to this season finale that's coming on tomorrow. My prediction for it before we switch over to Jay is that castle that they walk into. Turns out to be Kang the Conqueror.
Okay.
But the thing is, Kang the Conqueror knew that they were coming, so he up and dipped, and that's what's going to spark the events for Quantumania, Ant-Man Quantumania.
There you go. And
I saw another TikTok of this guy his name is Strawhead Goofy. Shout out to.
Oh, he's funny. He's good too.
He said it after, like I predicted it. And then he said it on the TikTok. I was like, oh, that means I'm doing something right.
Oh yeah, he's drawing these lines.
Like, if I'm drawing these same conclusions, it's like as a big comic book guy who does talk about it. Hopefully that is true. I'm hoping that it's going to be a post-credit scene of Kang the Conqueror, almost like what Thanos did in the first Avengers.
Just watching in on him.
Yeah, he doesn't say a word or anything. You just see like, because they already cast him. You know he's going to be. You know who he's going to be. You know when he's coming in the movie. It would just make sense that he be like in a post-credit scene or something that we just see his face just like
pan into it. Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah. And so that's all we see of Kang, and we knew that he was the big bad the whole time, or we don't because there is a Loki season 2 coming out, and so
I'm so grateful that you said there was a Loki. I didn't even know there was a Loki season 2.
So there may be it may just be a cliffhanger thing that we still don't find out who the whoever is behind the TVA.
I'm so game for a Loki season 2. I hope there's a few. You watch these shows and you're just like, are they one-offs? Are they?
So the thing that's what Kevin Feige said. The other shows they were just a mini series, but they did say that Loki was going to be a multi-season kind of thing because I think I can see this one running throughout Phase 4 because of Phase 4
and the nature of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
with it being the wonky.
That'd be so groundbreaking, bro.
Stuff, yeah.
That'd be so groundbreaking. That's next freaking level right there, man.
Yeah. But that's my prediction for tomorrow's episode. Hope I'm right, and we will see what happens. That's my weekly blurb. And Jay, what you got for us?
I'm excited to tell everybody about Mugen Train because we watched it on Monday with a good-sized group of our friends, like we did for Black Widow this week. And I kind of want to.
Those who don't know, Mugen Train, that is the name of the Demon Slayer movie that came out. We weren't able to see it in theaters, so we did watch it at a friend's house. Proceed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've watched it twice, so I rewatched it after we watched it at David's house. Shout out David Kwong for allowing us to use your TV in your new home. Congratulations on the new home, buddy.
Congrats, buddy.
But I wanted to watch it again on my TV and like just zone in on it and just like really kind of digest it for what it was. And I mean, this movie is so great. if you have watched the Demon Slayer cartoon. If you have not watched the Demon Slayer anime, do not bother watching this. It's basically the equivalent of having
It's almost like a 2-hour special.
I mean, it's kind of like Age of Ultron being your first Avengers movie.
Why would you say that?
It's kind of like what it is. Like if you watched it and you just were like, "What is going on?"
That's disrespectful to Demon Slayer.
Let's just watch the fight. Let's just watch the punching. That's just like
basically
like minus all the like the. I was watching Honest Trailers and I was like that they made that comparison. I'm like that's the perfect comparison for this movie.
But you're not wrong.
I know. They did it service, but the movie is a fantastic canonical. Insert following the completion of the first season that you just watch and you're getting you're perfectly prepared to go into
season 2.
Season 2 that is
ready. I need them
set to be released this month. Yeah. Yes. Like they're not gonna. I think it's week to week, but yes.
I don't care. It's still.
Yay, right? Like you're not having to wait a whole year for it.
When is season 2 coming out? I need it.
But no, it's this awesome story about a demon that inhabits a train and is taking out these humans, and Tanjiro, Kimetsu, and Inosuke have been summoned to go with Rengoku. It's easy to remember his name if you just remember it as Goku, because he's basically the same character as Goku. He likes to eat a lot and he likes to fight, so that's basically Goku. And
noted.
And they go and they take out this demon, and there are some sad moments and there's some powerful moments. The demon's power is he puts people into a dream, and so
I was about to say, can we do spoilers? Because I mean, the movie came out a solid 2 or 3 months ago.
I mean, I'm game, but
okay.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you.
The coolest part about it to me, I think, is like you really see how dope Tanjiro and Nezuko are, like, but especially Tanjiro, because like this man has to kill himself over and over again in a dream
to get out of the dream
to fight this demon that keeps putting him in the dream, and he like slits his throat every single time and manages to stay conscious.
I swear, if he's still
until he's saved by his friend,
right? But like, I swear, if he's afraid of death at this point. Like, I
mean, just to think about like the first episode when he couldn't take a rock to a demon's head, and now he's just slicing and dicing
himself. Well, first of all, he's slicing and dicing himself so he can get out this dream.
I'm saying, man, like this man, the whole thing at the beginning of the Demon Slayer series is that he doesn't have. Irokodai says that he doesn't have a strong will. He doesn't have the will. By the time you get to the end of Mugen Train, this man's will is that of the will of fire. Like, he is willing to do anything and everything for his sister. It doesn't matter.
Because he started off as mild-mannered, stone.
He was a bitch boy. He was kind of a bitch boy. I'm not going to lie. Like, this man, this little boy, which is what he was a boy. Like, he was like 12, 13 years old.
14, I was about to say, yeah.
And I mean, like, he was a boy, and now he's obviously gone through this massive transformation over, like, the first season.
Oh, he a man.
Well, I mean, you go through at least 4 years in the first season.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
And so, I mean, like, over that timeline, he's definitely changed a lot. But, yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was, like, a fantastic connecting movie for the new season, which is called Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Entertainment District. So they're going to the city, which will be. I mean,
that is where the train is headed.
And I really encourage those who enjoyed the TV show to watch the movie. And if you have watched the movie, I would love to hear from folks on our social media about it, because honestly, like, we need more people to talk anime with. We always want more people to talk anime with.
We're always welcoming guests as well, so come through. Anything else?
Nah, man, that's gonna be my weekly blurb, and I appreciate you.
Yeah. Oh, well, that concludes another episode of Blerd Survival Guide. Again, this was episode 19, so next week you will see our pretty faces on the camera, as well as get a podcast episode as well for episode 20.
Tune in.
I do want to thank everyone who has followed us on Instagram, because we are now up to, Let me find my phone.
We're over 100 followers, or are we just at 100
No,
followers?
we're over.
Uh-oh.
We've made it to. Give me 1 second, because my phone is acting slow. 123 followers.
Wow. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to everybody that's followed us. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. We've certainly enjoyed making it for you.
And I hope you keep enjoying the podcast, because we have no plans on stopping anytime soon.
And please tune in, because I think that we're going to have some giveaways going in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Over the next few weeks, maybe for our 25th. We'll see.
We'll see where things lie. Other than that, keep surviving, everybody. Make
surviving,
sure
everybody.
you follow us on all of our social media platforms. I did forget that part. But follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram at Blerd Survival Guide, on Twitter at Blerd Guide, on Facebook at Blerd Survival Guide, and email us at blerdsurvivalguide@gmail.com. You can follow our personals. Mine is at JairBear3295 and Jay
At JW0283.
All right, everybody, keep surviving and have a fantastic week.
Listen to the theme song.
Two guys and a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
It's the Blerd Survival Guide. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.